Sawa. So before we go ahead and start, I need to put it out there that I'm only doing this video to like share my experience and not like to hurt anyone's feelings. So like if you are college or university dropout, just know that it's okay, it's fine, it will all be well. It's okay, you can just always graduate late. That's the worst that could happen. It's really not that bad. It's not the end of life. What's up everybody, my name is Precious Palmsome. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe and join the family. Thank you so much for tuning in. And on today's video I'm going to be talking about my experience with failing, discontinue, or dropping out of university. Not like really dropping out, but yeah, taking a temporary break because we failed. I guess that's the way to put it. I did mention on most of my videos that did I mention though, like, did I mention? I kind of mentioned, I kind of like passed by it, that I'm currently on failing discontinue. To start the whole thing, initially academically, as I was, going this journey of education, I was just like a normal student. Like I got like the normal marks, everything was okay, everything was cool. And then got to Form 5, most of us got like good points. And then that's where I feel like that's where I literally got my FD. Like you get FD the moment you apply for the course you are doing. Like that's where you get your FD right there. Because we literally choose the wrong courses according to, we look at our points and like, you know what, I can actually get this. And that's where I actually determined whether I'm going to finish my course, whether I'm going to finish my degree or not, by choosing. Like that's where everything started. So after I got my points, I just went on to career fair. And usually at career fairs they would just literally just tell you what each career entails and blah blah blah, and how your points can actually match that kind of career. And with most kids who gets like higher points, like usually we get there and then they tell you, right, you know what, you actually qualify for BSc, or you actually qualify to become a doctor or an engineer. And that's literally all we hear. Like that's all we hear. I feel like with Form 5 points, the moment you get in to ask, what can I do, I got this kind of points, blah blah blah, what they tell you is like when you get in a club and you have like a certain amount of money and you're like, can I get like the highest priced bottle in here, can I have like the highest amount of alcohol in here? That's literally what we do with our points. You're like, I have maximum points, can I get like the hardest, if I can put it, can I get the hardest cost in here? What's the best you got? I feel like that's what we do. Unfortunately, with my case, that's what I did. And yeah, I went into Bachelor of Sciences. And obviously it wasn't my intention to do chemistry straight away. My intention, like everybody else, I was like, oh wow, I'm gonna become a doctor, or an engineer, or anything close to that. That was the whole intention. Even with everybody else, I'm sure that was the case with most of the students who went into BSc, because that's all we knew. That's the route to it. But reality check, there was like 600 of us and only 40 students I think that needed at medicine. And with engineering, it's not everyone who gets to qualify for engineering. You have to have like a certain amount of marks. Certain marks? Yeah, you have to have certain marks to go into engineering. But Mogele was ready. Like I was ready to be like, you know what, yeah, I'm doing this. I'm gonna become a doctor. I'm gonna get myself a doctorate, and yeah, I'm doing this.
Okay.
But it was then that I decided, and then I went to varsity, and then I started my first year. I like, it was very clear. It was very clear from day one. Like I literally knew from day one, the moment I got into class. It was physics 1 something, like it's physics first, level 1. Yeah, I literally knew on that class that one of these days I'm gonna fail and I'm gonna go. Yeah, you say it's actually a pessimistic mentality and it's not okay, but it's actually the reality that I had. Like when like you get into a class and you're like, yo, I'm out. Like I'm not gonna survive this. It was literally the first lecture that actually showed me that, you know what, you're not gonna do this. It's better if you leave now. But you know what, I went in and I'm like, I'm ready to do this. I remember on that class they were teaching something about vectors. Is it vectors? It was vectors. Like, you know, in Form 5 we were taught about vectors, and it was like the most simplest thing ever. Everything was straightforward. On that first day, first lecture, it was like level 100 of vectors. Like, it was one as topic that actually showed me flames. The moment I got into varsity, and I'm like, what is this? That is when I knew, guys. Like, that is when I knew that I'm gonna get my FD one of these days. It's just a matter of when. When am I gonna get my FD? So yeah, it went on like that, and the truth is, I actually tried. I really tried to be. It wasn't like that moment I'm like, oh yeah, guys, I'm failing and there's nothing I can do about it. But I did try. I got myself a tutor for all the subjects. I tried with my own allowance. I tried to like push. I really tried to push, and I was like, I need to do it for my family. You know, I left home and they're thinking out there what our daughter is doing well and stuff like that. But meanwhile, I'm showing flames by the subjects. Then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try, and that's when I got myself a tutor, like I said. But you know, there was something that I experienced. It's a bit more personal, but there was something that I experienced, and I had to drop the tutor, and that's when everything just went south. Like, personally, I'm one of those people who are just, I'm not like a hard worker or anything. Usually it helps when I attend classes and hear what's going on, blah blah blah, and then that way I can go on to write and actually pass. But in this case, I just, after I dropped the tutor, I literally just lost hope. Like, I was just waiting for that moment, like I said, where I could actually get my FD. I was just like barely attending classes. I would barely even pay attention, because I was just like, this is just too hard. I can't, like, there's no way I can actually manage to do this. So yeah, that is what I was going through. And the worst part is, most people would just think that usually when somebody fails or they don't make it in varsity is because, you know, of drugs or alcohol or being busy chasing the gaps life. That is not the case, guys. Actually, the people who actually chase the gaps lives are the ones who actually make it, because they know whatever we have to focus on gaps life in school. We have to make it back in school. Like, somehow they replace the time they spend trying to chase the gaps life. So what I'm trying to say is, it's not always the case. When somebody fails, sometimes it's just the mental part of it. Because when I just saw, have you ever been in a situation where you're just there and you see everything crashing down and you see that I'm not gonna make it? Like, sooner or later it's gonna happen that I'm gonna blow, and everything's just gonna blow into pieces. Like, my 16 years of school and all this time, I'm about to lose my sponsorship and everything else. Like, it's actually depressing. Like, it goes to that point where it's just like it's heartbreak. Okay, now we get to the point where it's like going downhill. I can see that, you know, one of these days I'm out of here, because you know you know, slowly but surely, most of my friends, most of people I knew, they was taking their FDs, and I knew one of these days it will be me. You know, it wasn't safe anyone, and nobody was safe. So approaching that, most of my friends, like most of my colleagues, they were really helpful. Like, you know, when you see that somebody's struggling a lot and they're ready to give up, and you literally just do the work for them. I mean, they were just practically building my degree at that point. Like, I would really ask for help, not really ask, but they would offer to help most times, and I'm really thankful for them, because if it wasn't for them, I don't think I would have even made it to 30 year. Like, so most of the things, they really helped out, and that's how I got, I really that's how I really kept moving, because if it wasn't for them, I would have stopped, like I said. So yeah, from there, and most of the times you'd ask, what were you doing the whole time? Because what I'm saying here is, oh, I didn't, I would ask at 10, sometimes at 10 lectures, but it wasn't like that much commitment. And even if when I attended, I wasn't even concentrating. And you're asking yourself, Pal, what were you doing? Were you doing drugs, or were you going partying? What were you doing? Like, you have to at least do something if you're not attending, like, bro. But you'd be surprised that I was taken down by cartoons and like Korean dramas. That's all I did. Like, I would just chill in my room and just watch Korean dramas and cartoons and just wait for the time I actually failed. Because it was at this point, it wasn't like me being stubborn or me being like doing stuff to fail on purpose. Like, at this point, it was just a mental thing. Like, I was at a point where I couldn't even think of my future. Like, I didn't even care at that point. I'm just like, you know what? Let everything happen. I don't care. But like I said, most of my friends were very helpful, and they would like seriously help out. Like, they would do my homeworks, and I literally owe those people my degree. The moment I get my degree, I should like continue, like distribute it amongst them, because bro, they help out a lot. So yeah, around that time, that's when I slowly got to my FD. And when the time actually came, it was my third year, I think, second semester, my third year. But even though I'm saying second semester, my third year, bro, I was just, most of my courses, I was behind with them. I was like doing first year courses, like a third year. Yeah, it's possible, guys. It happens. Ask me how. So yeah, I was doing, most of my courses that I was doing was like first years. I had a bunch of retakes. Like, from the first semester, literally from the first semester, from the get-go, I had subs. Like, I had a lot of supplements. And like I said, that's how I knew that I wasn't gonna make it around here. Like, not really not make it, because I'm gonna go back to finish my degree anyway. But that's how I knew that things are gonna go downhill. Like, it's not gonna get better from here. So yeah, I did a lot of supplementing. I did a lot of retakes, a bunch of them, and I was really just unbothered at that point. I was like, you know what? I'm in a first year student class, and I'll be doing first year math, and I wouldn't care, bro. Like, I'll be just like, let me just get out of this class, finish, whatever happens, And yeah, it came around that time when I started like, I would get like warnings, like, where you get warnings that, this is your academic warning, next semester if you feel like this, you're gonna get an FD. But it didn't happen. I think for 3 semesters, I had warnings, but then I never got my FD. Like, being God's favorite sometimes, but eventually it did happen. Like, I remember the time when I got my results, because of course I was doing my subs that semester. I had a sub, and I was literally depending on it. Like, had I failed that sub, it was like go, or if go home, or if I've passed it, then I get to stay. So I wrote that sub. It was maths sub, and I was like waiting for my results. And I remember I was in Tlukweng at my friend's house channel. I went to check channel, and the results came in. And I knew that it shouldn't be anything less than 50. And boy, the moment I opened that laptop, it was just clear that, you get it was 48%. Yeah, it was 48%. And then they wrote in like small red letters. I think it's red. It's like academic failing discontinue, academic warning, blah blah blah. And I'm like, like, I was chilled. I don't want to lie. The moment I found out that I got empty, I was really chilled. Because for a long time now, for 3 years, I've been expecting it. It was just a matter of when it's going to happen. So the moment I saw that message, I was just like, so you finally came. Like, welcome. So when I got my FD, that's when I knew that most of the stuff are going to change. I have to, like, grow up, be a woman, find a way to, like, really finance myself, because when you come back, you're gonna have to like sponsor yourself for some time before you can go back to asking for the sponsorship from the government. So that's when I kind of like started out to like look for jobs and stuff like that. And yeah, and that's when I started waitressing. That's why I'm a waitress, and I give you guys waitress tips. That's why. So yeah. I had to stick around, look for a job, because the last thing I was gonna do is gonna go back home and just get more depressed and more stressed. And that's why if you get an FD or you do fail, just know that there's no need for you to go home, because the moment you go home, you're just gonna be depressed the whole time, unless you really have a supportive structure that's just gonna agree that from here, when you go back to school, we're gonna pay for your rent, you're gonna pay for your school fees, you're gonna pay for your food. That's when you can actually go home. But if you don't have that, avoid going home, because if you go home, that's it. Like, it's gonna be hard to come back. So the best thing is just look for, I don't know, any waitressing job or any job that doesn't need certain qualifications. Like, just look for those and work there for some time and save up money so that you can come back. And that's exactly what I did, even though it wasn't that enough, because I did manage to come back the following semester, like the semester after the ones I took a break from. And yeah, I'm still waiting for the results for that semester. That's when I can officially go back to school. But my advice is, if you do have FD, that's what you should do. Just avoid going home and try to work for yourself. Work your way up back to school, because you will need financial support. You will need to grow a bit emotionally, being independent and stuff like that. And the best way to do it is actually to stick around, find a job and work for it. And yeah, I hope this story helped to those who have issues with school. Just know that if you actually or eventually get your FD, or if you have it, or if you're a student who's looking to go to varsity, just avoid certain things, like decision makings that are really wrong. Go for the courses that you really like. Go for something that you are passionate about, no matter what your points are. Just go for points go for courses that will actually be you choosing them. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah. And also, if you are on the verge of getting FD, it's not that bad. It's a really flipped up moment, if I can say. It's not great to be on FD status, but you can actually get out of it. It's not the end of life. The moment you start a job, the moment you start to work your way up again, you're more motivated to get back to school, you're more motivated to pass and stuff like that. And if it's because the course you're doing is impossible, I urge you to always shift courses before your second year. That's something that I always tell people who are having trouble with certain courses like BSc and stuff like that. Just shift. It's okay to just go for, I don't know, finance, because I know what I was better at that, or law. I was better at that than sciences, even though I was just dumb enough to go ahead with sciences anyway. So if that's your case, just go for courses that you love. Even though I'm not saying that less hard, I'm saying if you're passionate about that, it's way easier, because they are hard as well. Everything is hard out here. Like, it's education. We have to suffer for it. But just go for courses that you will bear with the whole thing. You will manage somehow. And yeah, that's it. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in on today's video. And if you'd like to see more videos and any specific video, do suggest in the comments. And thank you so much, guys, for tuning in.